What is up, Cleveland family? Listen close because the Dawg Pound is about to get rocked by some massive news coming out of the draft war room. We are talking about a move that could change everything for our offense and finally give us that championship spark we have been craving. You do not want to miss this update, so make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and turn on those notifications. Join the most loyal fan base in the world and stay ahead of every single rumor. Let's get into what's brewing for our Browns today. Jeremiah Love is officially being linked to the Cleveland Browns as a potential top 10 pick for the 2026 NFL Draft, and this is absolutely wild. Even though we all know the league usually treats taking a running back in the top 10 as a total mistake, the word on the street is that Love is such a freak athlete he is defying all the old-school logic. We are talking about a kid from Notre Dame who is being projected as high as the 5th or 8th overall pick. Now imagine this for a second, because the Browns are currently sitting with the 6th pick in these early projections. Could Andrew Berry actually pull the trigger on a running back that high? It sounds crazy until you look at what this kid brings to the table. We are talking about a player whose comparisons are legendary. Names like Reggie Bush and Saquon Barkley are being thrown around like it is nothing. He is not just a guy who takes handoffs. He is a weapon that can catch the ball and turn any play into a touchdown from 60 yards out. The scouts are saying his elusiveness is elite, and his speed is just pure blazing. For a Cleveland offense that struggled so hard to find playmakers last year, especially with wideouts failing to catch more than 2 touchdowns, adding a guy like this seems like a dream come true. But here is the real kicker. Even with our young talent in the backfield, there is a massive hole that only a generational talent like this can fill. Everyone is asking if this is the missing piece to fix our scoring woes or if we are about to make a massive mistake by ignoring our offensive line needs. The pressure is mounting on the front office to make a splash that actually translates to wins on the field. If Love is sitting there at 6, the atmosphere in Cleveland is going to be electric and tense all at the same time. This is not just about a draft pick. It is about the entire philosophy of how we build this roster to compete in the AFC North. But wait until you hear what the actual stats say about our current situation in the backfield, because it reveals a truth that most fans are completely ignoring right now. Quinshon Judkins was supposed to be the undisputed future of this backfield after his breakout season as a second-rounder in 2025, but the reality is a lot more complicated than the highlights show. While we all love the energy he brought to the stadium, a deep dive into the numbers from last year shows some serious red flags that the coaching staff is definitely worried about. Quinshon Judkins averaged a really concerning 3.6 yards per carry over the entire season. That is just not going to cut it when you are trying to grind out wins in late December in the North. Even worse, he failed to even hit the 3-yard mark in 5 different games, including a really rough stretch over his final 3 appearances. You have to remember that he is also fighting back from some serious physical trauma, including that nasty dislocated right ankle and a fractured fibula that ended his debut season way too early. When you look at the history of guys coming back from those types of lower body injuries, it is never a guarantee they keep that same burst through the hole. The Browns front office has always been diligent about meeting with linemen and receivers because they know the passing game has been predictable and frankly kind of boring. Last year we were so easy to read, running on early downs and passing when we were desperate. If Quinshon Judkins cannot regain his form or if his efficiency stays that low, this offense is going to stay stuck in neutral. That is why the conversation about bringing in another elite back is heating up behind closed doors at Berea. We need a 1-2 punch that actually scares defensive coordinators, not just a rotation of guys struggling to move the chains. The history of this franchise is built on great running backs, but in the modern NFL, you need more than just a grinder. You need a playmaker who creates gravity on the field. The question remains whether the front office trusts the recovery of their young back, or if they are ready to pivot to a completely new strategy that might leave some fans scratching their heads as the draft approaches. The cliffhanger here is that the numbers reveal a desperate need for explosive plays that our current roster simply isn't delivering consistently. When you look at the statistical profile of a guy like Jeremiah Love compared to our current production, the gap is massive. Love is being projected as a top 8 talent because he offers versatility in the passing game that we haven't seen in Cleveland in years. Think about it. Last season, no Browns wide receiver caught more than 2 touchdowns. That is an embarrassing stat for a professional football team in 2024. Now, if you add a back who can line up in the slot or catch screens and take them to the house, you suddenly fix 2 problems at once. However, the scenario where we take Love at 6th overall creates a massive debate. Scenario 1 is that we create a terrifying duo with Quinshon Judkins, where Love handles the third downs and explosive gadget plays while Judkins hammers the middle. This could catapult our offense into the top 10 in the league. But scenario 2 is much riskier. If we spend that high of a pick on a running back while our offensive line is still struggling to provide clean pockets, we might just be wasting a generational talent behind a wall that can't block. General Manager Andrew Berry is in a tough spot because he has been meeting with every top offensive lineman and wideout in the class, yet no official meetings with running backs have been leaked yet. This could be a smokescreen, or it could mean they are dead set on fixing the trenches first. Also, we have to look at the quarterback room. It is going to look completely different in 12 months. If we don't have a reliable passer, does it even matter who is in the backfield? The payoff for a player like Love is high for the long term. But this regime needs to win right now to keep their jobs. If they take a wideout like everyone expects, they might play it safe. But if they go for the home run with a back, it shows they are going all in on a specific identity. We are looking at a pivotal moment where the draft strategy will define the next 3 years of Browns football. The fans are divided, the stats are pointing toward a need for change, and the clock is ticking on the front office to make the right call. Look, I am going to give it to you straight as someone who lives and breathes Cleveland football. Taking a running back at 6 overall feels like a move from 1995, but Jeremiah Love is not your average back. If he is truly the next Saquon or Jahmyr Gibbs, you cannot pass on that kind of game-changing speed. Our offense was so predictable last year it was painful to watch. We were basically telling the defense exactly what we were doing before the snap. Adding Love gives us a chess piece that forces teams to stop stacking the box. However, I am worried about Andrew Berry's job security. If this pick doesn't result in a playoff run immediately, he is gone. My insider take is that the Browns are looking at the success of teams like the Lions with Gibbs and thinking they can replicate that magic. But you have to have the line to back it up. I love the idea of a 1-2 punch with a healthy Judkins, but we cannot ignore the fact that our receivers were non-existent in the red zone last year. If we pass on a blue-chip wideout to take a back, Love better be a Hall of Famer from day one. It is a massive gamble. But honestly, being mediocre hasn't worked for us, so maybe it is time to get aggressive and take the best athlete on the board, regardless of the position. At the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns are at a crossroads that will define the future of this franchise for years to come. Whether we go with the safe bet on the line or take a massive swing on a superstar like Jeremiah Love, the Dawg Pound is going to be loud and proud no matter what happens. This is our year to finally prove the doubters wrong and show the rest of the AFC North that Cleveland is a force to be reckoned with. But I want to hear from you, the real fans. Would you be hyped if we took a running back in the top 10? Or do you think we absolutely have to prioritize a wide receiver or a tackle to save this offense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I read every single one of them, and I want to know where the fans stand on this draft drama. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on our Browns. We are building something special here, and I'm glad you're part of the journey. Go Browns, and I will see you in the next one.